Yeah. You already know what time it is. It's that official time. Where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam show. Let's go! Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Episode 446 of the Pancakes and Powerslams show. I'm Dr. Chris Featherstone here for another wonderful episode for you on the mothership. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to having a good time with the PNP Nation as always. All right, let's jump right into these Ask Chris questions. And we're going to go through the draft today. Actually, that's going to be the most it's going to be the biggest part of our conversation tonight. We're going to be talking about the draft. I'm going to bring up the draft results, and we're going to talk about it. Let's see. All right. Let me make sure. Bring this stuff up here. Hold on. There we go. All right. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Marissa? What's going on, Dion? Finally, the doctor's in the house. Thank you so much. Aaron, what's up? What's up, Alonzo? I'll get to that premium. Thanks a lot. All right, so let's go. I'll get to yours, Marissa here. Premium is a great interview with Paul. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it. It was great. It was better than I expected. It was fantastic. Do you know if he is able to be your new co-host for Legion Raw? So we did talk. He can't do it because of other obligations and just keeping up with the product. So we talked last week. And I wanted Paul to be the co-host. I wanted him to be the co-host, but he said he can't do it because of obligations. I said, okay, well, thank you, I appreciate it. But can you come on for the unscripted? Can you come on for the Q&A? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, great. So I reached out to I said, hey, well, can you see if Rachel can do it? His daughter Rachel Ellering. And then she's not interested. So I got a couple of people in mind. I just don't want it to be anybody though. That's the thing. I reached out to a lot of people that I know will be good fits, but believe it or not, a lot of a lot of former WWE talent does not watch Raw. They do not. They just don't watch Raw. So can't do anything about that. So I'm not going to tell you names, but I will tell you that I reached out to a lot of people, including WWE Hall of Famers, and they just don't watch Raw, unfortunately. So, I didn't think this would be the case, but it's much easier to get the people for unscripted than get the people who get a co-host for the Legion of Raw show. And again, I just don't want to choose anybody. And I just Joe, Road Warrior Animal has huge shoes to fill. So I got a long Rolodex of wrestlers, but it's going to be some shoes to fill for sure. Oh, and check this out. Got something for y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here, this is my first book. This is such an achievement. This is such an honor. First book. This is my dissertation in book form. And so there you go. That's my dissertation in book form, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is one of my bucket list items. I wanted to be an author. I said, you know what? Before I die, I want to write 3 books, but at least write one. And I was able to finish my dissertation to become a doctor, and I was able to get my dissertation in book form. So I am a doctor and I'm an author. So that is me. That's my name right there. And that's my dissertation topic. And this is my book. This is my book, ladies and gentlemen. This is my book. I'm an author. Woo! That's my Ric Flair. So yeah, I'm super honored for that. All right. Marissa's asking, what do you think of Kofi and Woods just switched titles with the Street Profits? Then think they maybe could have done it differently. I think they maybe could have done it differently. I think they could have done it all types of differently. I think that was a stupid idea. And New Day and Street Profits are my 2 favorite tag teams in all of professional wrestling, actually. That was a stupid idea. I think they should have held the titles. I think they should have held the titles because they got drafted. I think they should have held the titles. And what I would have done, I would have made Raw and SmackDown even more intriguing. I would have had like 4 teams, for each brand. For Raw, I would have had New Day, Miz and Morrison. I don't even know who else. Hurt Business. So like Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. That would be 3, and then one more team. You know, you name it. you name it. As far as I wouldn't really do much of Retribution being. Ziggler and Rude were still around at the time. They got drafted, but they were still around. So there you go, Ziggler and Rude. I would have had those 4 teams be a part of. So the titles are held up since the Street Profits are now drafted to SmackDown, and I would have had those 4 teams go at it for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And on SmackDown, I would have done the same thing. I would have had Tucker and Otis. I would have had Cesaro and Nakamura and Lucha House Party and Street Profits. And you have 4 teams. There you go, 8 teams apiece. You have 4 teams apiece, a 4-way each night for the titles. I would have had a New Day win it on Monday, and Street Profits win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Just a simple backstage switch. I mean, that to me, that just really goes to show how they feel about the championships. It was an awful idea, and technically, that counts as another title reign for the both, right? I mean, you just really messed it up. you just messed the whole thing up. You just literally had a tag team title change accounted for title change just because of a backstage swap. And if you look on, like a Wikipedia, they count October 12th, 2020 as another reign for the New Day for the Raw Tag Team titles. So let me check and see if WWE acknowledges it. Raw Tag Team Championship. Yeah. Championship holder, the New Day, title held 1 day. So it is official. It is official from WWE that the Raw Tag Team titles is an official change, and it is held by the New Day. So there you go. The New Day, October 12th, 2020 to present. Street Profits, March 2nd, 2020 to October 12th, 2020. Longest reigning, 223 days in this era. And yeah, it's an official change. That's just silly. That's just super silly to me. You just officially changed it's an official title reign, official title change acknowledged by WWE.com as an official title reign. So official title change. And you did it backstage. That was absolutely horrible. Thoughts on Ricochet's future with WWE? For some reason, to me, Ricochet is like NXT, like main eventer, upper main eventer type of dude. Like, really liked the North American Championship. Really, really enjoyed that feud with Adam Cole, and his Gargano feud was okay, but yeah, I just I don't think that the WWE will do much with him. I'm cool with Ricochet, but I love his athleticism. I think that the WWE don't see like main event status with him because his character really lacks intrigue. Amazing in the ring, but I think he just needs to do a little bit more with his character to add to it. I love the Eddie Guerrero thing on Monday. That was fantastic. I really think that he should stay with that. He should stay with the baby face type of, lie, cheat, steal, Eddie Guerrero type of deal to him. Something that kind of brings more out of him character wise. That was my issue. I'm a Apollo Crews guy, but that was my biggest issue with Apollo. Still is. There's something. It doesn't require a heel turn. You don't have to do all that. It doesn't always take a face or a heel turn to change someone's character. You can do a character change with keeping someone face or heel. So I don't think Ricochet needs to turn needs to turn heel. Same thing with Apollo, but at the same time, it's just like there's something something missing there. So I'd imagine WWE sees that as well. So character wise, I definitely think there needs to be improvement. I think if I was Ricochet, he's probably already doing this, but if I was Ricochet, man, I would just pitch ideas, pitch. And I think that's the way to go. You just have to keep pitching ideas. You have to come up with them, and you have to say, Vince, this is what I'm going to do to expand my character. This is what I'm going to do to allow my character to really stand out. And that's what it has. That's what it's going to take for Ricochet to really be looked at as more than just a good hand, a utility player, really good in the ring, making people look good. He does all that. He makes anybody look good who he's in the ring with. But he needs to kind of focus on him now and say, this is what I'm going to do to stand out. So have I interviewed Paul Ellering before? I haven't. That was my first time. I shared at the beginning of the show. I called his job like 4 or so years ago. The tavern that he owned, and it was really cool. I was really wanting to interview Paul Ellering. That was one of my bucket list journalist items, was to interview Paul Ellering, and I think it was right around. I think it was like right before the Street Profits debuted with him. But yeah, I always want to interview because I always want to interview Animal, and I interviewed him back in 2017, and it was around that time. So I wanted to interview Paul Ellering too, and so it was great, man. I got to call him, and he called me back. We talked for a while. It was good. So I really, really enjoyed that. It was really cool. And no, Doug Basham is not the permanent co-host for Legion of Raw. He was on yesterday as a guest host. So we're gonna until we get a permanent host, my plan is to have some guest hosts. So we're just kind of figuring out who's going to be in that slot. Oh man, PNP Nation is lit tonight. Great stuff, y'all. Yes, Elvis. How about them Titans? I was at the gym. I came out the gym a little bit after it started. I was listening to it in my truck, and I actually have Hulu on my phone, but I listened to sports radio. I'm either listening to like contemporary Christian music or chill hop. That's the two genres of music I listen to. I listen to Christian rap all the time too. But yeah, or sports radio. And so today I was listening to sports radio, and so sports radio was on in my truck when I was when I was leaving the gym and it was the Titans game. I was looking at the kind of the hype about it at the gym, and then I was listening to it in my truck driving home, and so then I started watching it. And at that time, it was 7-7 actually, and Titans were driving. It was the end of the first. Titans were driving, and then I turned it back on. I was having some family time. Before that, I turned it back on. Titans were up 21-10. And then after my family time, I turned it back on and watched it again. And it was like 28-16. And then we scored. And then Derrick Henry ran it in 10 yards. And then I took a shower. And then by the time it was crazy because I left my phone, I was listening to it, looking at it, like I was listening to it in the bathroom. And then I stepped away from my bathroom for a second, I think to get my clothes. And I came back to my bathroom to look at it. And then they were driving again. I was like, what happened? We were driving again. And then Ryan Tannehill threw it in for another touchdown. And so I was like, what in the world just happened? And it was 42-16 at that time. And I said, wow. I mean, there's only 4 more unbeatens. We are one of them still. The Bills were one of them. We beat them. Now they're 4-1. We're 4-0. Wish that we could have, played the Steelers. Steelers are up there too. That was the battle of the unbeatens too, but of course, rightfully so because of the outbreak of COVID results, positive COVID. They canceled it, which I totally understand that. So hopefully we get the chance to do it. But this is the first time we've been 4-0 in 12 years since 2008, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were 13-3 that year. So. Yep, we were 13-3 that year, and 7-1 at home, 6-2 away. So, yeah, that was one of our best years. So it was fantastic. So, so of course we're number 1 in the FC South, and playoffs. We lost to the Ravens, by 3 points. I remember that. I was very unhappy about that. But yeah, I mean, that was one of our best years in franchise history, and so. That was the last time we were 4-0. We won 4. Actually, we won 11 straight that year. We became 11-0. Then we lost to the Jets. Actually, we were 10-0, and then we lost to the Jets in our 11th game. So we won 10 straight that year. We were on fire, man, absolutely on fire. And then we lost. Toward the tail end of the year, we lost to the Jets, the Texans, and the Colts. So we lost to the Colts last game. We actually got shut out by the Colts. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff Fisher put in the second team because we were like a lock to go to the playoffs. So if I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff Fisher put in a second team that game to give the first team some a break. Because we were already locked into, we won the division. So, yeah. Rested several of their starters for the game, including Chris Johnson and benched Kerry Collins early. Yeah. Yep. So we put in our second team that game because we knew that we were locked in for the playoffs and the winning division. So, we got shut out, but yeah, it happens. Josh, what's up, Josh? NXT, if NXT was involved in 2020 draft, who would you have drafted to or from NXT? Great question, Alonzo. So Arturo Ruas, I think, went from NXT to Raw. That was their NXT. That was the only NXT draft pick. Okay, so drafted to or from. I like the way that you asked that question too. I would have drafted Apollo Crews to NXT. As far as from NXT, it's really hard to draft someone from NXT because they're doing, most of the people are doing so much better in NXT, and they get on the main roster and just aren't being utilized well. If I had to pick one or two people from the NXT to pick to come up, I would do yeah. See, I would have done Rich Holland, but he got injured, and I saw as soon as Oni Lorcan did the slingshot dive, and he caught and Rich Holland caught him. I said, "Oh man, that doesn't look good at all." And you knew that it was a shoot because the camera went off of him. It went to Oni Lorcan, taking care of Danny Burch, and it didn't go back to Rich Holland. And I said, "Oh man, this is bad," because they were really starting to it seemed like they really were about to push Rich Holland to the moon. And he looks the part too. So yeah, that was sad. I would have considered Ridge Holland. He is green. I suppose Killer Cross. Drafting him. He's injured or recovering from injury, but he should be back within a few months. So I imagine Killer Cross would have been a good draft pick and had him, debut at the Rumble or something like that if he's cleared. I still would have Killer Cross on NXT though. Honestly, I think he's got some developing to do. I think they really need to treat him very finely. They need to treat him very, very well and not have him. He is the star. Like, he's the heel. He's the biggest name. He stands out NXT, and it does a really good job developing his character. If he went to the main roster, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. So actually, I think I wouldn't draft Killer Cross because I think he really needs to really look like an absolute monster, standout babyface. I would have drafted Keith Lee back to NXT. I know that WWE wouldn't have done that because it would have been like, okay, we made a mistake. But Keith Lee coming up to the main roster, we're seeing that it's just a flop. I mean, going into this 50-50 stuff with Orton, feuding with Drew McIntyre, he doesn't look like a standout monster. And now he's feuding with Braun Strowman already. This has been horrible, man. This has been a very horrible call up of Keith Lee, someone who they should be pushing like crazy, but it's horrible. Let me see, one or two people from NXT. If I had to choose one or two people from NXT, definitely wouldn't do UE. Let's do a. I'm thinking of a tag team now that could move up. The tag team division isn't the best. Let me go through the roster. I'm thinking like a Oh gosh, Punishment Martinez is his name. Oh gosh, what's his name? That quick, I'm forgetting his name. Forgetting Punishment Martinez's name. Damian Priest, yeah. So no, I would say no. Because he's champ. He's 24/7, not 24/7, but he's North American champ. Let's see. Cameron Grimes, no. He fits well in NXT. You know, perhaps Bronson Reed. Perhaps. I really like Bronson Reed. I actually would prefer Bronson Reed being UK, not UK, but North American champion. I like Bronson Reed. Like I like him. I think he has the size. He has the ability. I don't know why they changed his music though. I don't like the fact that they changed his music. I like the boom, 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 boom. I think that was catchy. That was a lot catchier than what he has now. What he has now is more generic. I think he actually took a step back as far as theme music is concerned. But I really like Bronson Reed. Enough to go on the main roster, perhaps. But again, I don't think he'd manage well. So I guess the moral of the story is I can't see anybody being drafted from NXT because I really think that they would just butcher everybody. That's possible. Maybe Dream. Yeah, Dream. There you go. Dream. I don't like Dream's character now. I don't like him as a heel. He's just really being, right now, I mean, he had so much going for him, and then the allegations and all that stuff really put a big damper and a big, type of halt toward his momentum. And then he came back as a heel. I mean, to me, Velveteen Dreams his momentum has cooled down so much. I mean, like super duper cooled off. So taking him to the main roster may be a good idea now because he just doesn't really fit anymore in NXT. The Kushida feud, I really like Kushida. Kushida is one of my all-time. He's probably he is my favorite. Well, I would say Liger is my favorite junior in heavyweight in Japan, but Kushida modern day he is my favorite junior in New Japan. So. Yeah, I mean, I love Kushida, man. I'm a big fan of Kushida, have been for years. So I wouldn't bring him up because I definitely don't see them do anything with him. I'm glad that I loved Dream when he was a babyface, but now I'm just like, I'm just really indifferent. I'm glad that Kushida beats Dream. He made him look good. I'm glad they're making Kushida look good again. Yeah, so I guess Dream would be my choice. Give him fresh air. Take him on the main roster at this point. Before I would have said no. When he was a babyface, I was like, no, give him the title, and do something with him as the top name. But now I'm like, yeah. Did they add, why did they add guys from Raw Underground to the draft? Yeah, Dabba-Kato gets drafted to Raw. That was really weird. So. It seems like because Raw Underground is no longer, it seems like. So, what's up, Christopher? Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, congratulations, Ricky. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Premium. Yeah, yeah, it's my book. Thanks. What's a dissertation? So dissertation is a written defense of a topic. So as I proceeded my doctoral journey, to become a doctor. So you do your coursework, which is a couple of years. So you do all your coursework. And then after you do all your coursework, you have to start your dissertation process. Your dissertation is you choose a topic that's relevant to your particular field of study. Mine is forensic psychology. And so you choose a topic and then you defend the topic that you choose by writing a big, long, book long dissertation. So it is to defend your topic. So you have to, it's 5 chapters. You have to pick the topic, you have to pick the methodology, whatever theory you use, grounded theory, phenomenological, case study, there's different types of theories. And so mine was phenomenological, which I actually did interviews of people who converted to Christianity while in prison and has not recidivated, which means return to prison. So so you do a whole bunch of just you have to follow just the system. You have to follow just the structure, and you get edits and you get pushback, and you get edits and you get pushback, and you have to fill out a consent form, and you fill out a form in order to do the interviews, to collect the data. Then you have to orally defend the first 3 chapters, and then you have to collect the data. You have to translate, you have to code the data, listen to all the interviews. You have to actually create codes. So I actually had to translate all the interviews. There was a translate software, and then I listened to the software and then had to translate it myself. And then after that, I had to code, meaning I had to get things out of every single interview and line up similarities and themes, emerging themes. And so I had to do the codes and the themes. And so I had to do that. And then after that, I had to create a chapter about that. And then I had to do the conclusion, which was a summation of the data collection in line with the literature review, which was chapter 2. And the literature review, I had to read literally hundreds of articles to defend my topic and write about it. So it was a long process. It took me 3 years to finish my dissertation. It was super long. It was by far the most exhausting thing I have ever done. I actually experienced burnout. I was just exhausted mentally. It was just a grind. It was so crazy. Just all the research. I mean, I had to do hours and hours and hours and hours of research to write this dissertation. It was well worth it. I would do it again if I had to, just not just in rewind, not future, but just in rewind, because I'm done with doing that. Actually, I'm back in school. I'm getting my third master's. Actually, I have 2 masters. I have a master's in theological studies, and I have a master's in philosophy. My PhD is in forensic. I'm sorry, I have a master's in psychology. I have my PhD is in forensic psychology, and now I'm getting my master's in criminal justice with a specialization in behavioral sciences. So I'll be doing a lot of behavioral analysis, criminal profiling, criminal investigation when it comes to forensic science, forensic psychology. So basically, I'm just swelling up my resume to go down the path of criminology and criminal profiling and criminal investigation. So that is my goal. The coursework. Oh my gosh, the coursework of this field, behavioral sciences and criminal justice, is so fascinating. It's so fascinating. I'm super excited. It's only 10 courses. I had already had some transferred, and I took one, so I only have like 4 quarters altogether left. 4 or 5 quarters. That's a year, so it'll be done in a year or so, and I'll just continue to swell up my resume. I'm already a psychology coordinator in my job, so praise the Lord, I'm making good money. But basically, this degree will add about $20,000 to my salary. So yeah, it's great. It's a great path, and I'm super looking forward to it. And yeah, so I actually had to do I stayed up till after 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night because actually my sister-in-law got married, and I didn't have much time. I did a lot of research, but I had to do a PowerPoint presentation, a 14 slide, ended up being like 18, but 14 slide PowerPoint presentation on documenting a serial. This week. Last week, the topic at hand that we had to study was learning about female serial killers. And so I learned a whole lot of information last week about female serial killers. And we had to highlight one and do a narrated PowerPoint presentation on her. And so that's what I did Sunday afternoon, Sunday night for about 7 hours. And so tons and tons of research, tons of reading about serial killers, tons of research and study about the one that I chose. And I had to narrate it. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. So fascinating stuff. Really big into true crime stuff. And it was one of the reasons why I got my forensic psychology degree, because I deal with more of the court stuff, but I want to integrate it more. I actually integrated into theology right now. I want to integrate theology and psychology, so and also criminology now too. So yeah, that's that, Ricky. I agree. I think the entire draft was stupid. I think when you're saying, okay, this person's going to stay here, that's stupid to me. This person's staying on Raw. I'm a huge Titans fan. That would be the same. Like, to me, I'm thinking like, hey, so in the 2021 draft, the Titans select Ryan Tannehill of the Tennessee Titans. Oh, but you already have him. So that whole thing to me was just really stupid. So there was some interesting, developments, but yeah, should have been involved in the draft. Too much untapped talent there. The only thing, yeah, I mean, I get that, Simon. The only thing is, I really don't see any NXT talent being utilized properly. I really don't, and that's unfortunate because I think NXT is one of my favorite things right now. I think for me, it's SmackDown 1, NXT 2. AEW 3. Those are my top 3 right now. And then I would say Raw 4, Impact 5. So I just don't. I don't see WWE utilizing NXT correctly. I just don't. So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I'm just like, just kind of let it go for now. You know what I mean? So yeah. What happened to the wild card thing? Another WWE, experiment going awry. So I'm right. Thanks, Vince. Thanks. Thank you, man. Lana being the number 1 contender for Asuka's belt, I think that's just another way. This is what I see. I see WWE trying to use some reverse psychology on the fans and saying, okay, well, you guys keep saying that, she's getting buried because of Miro being on the AEW. See, she's the number 1 contender. And we're thinking in our head, I'm thinking in my head, like, Come on, WWE. Like, you really think we're stupid here? Like, she's going to get absolutely squashed by Asuka. You know, the title match is next week. They're not even building it to the pay-per-view. So it's just I think it's just a way of WWE trying to shut people up, honestly. And you know, I don't think that I think it's a poor way, a poor attempt at it, but I definitely think it's a way to tell fans like, well, look, you know, which boo. So, yeah, yeah, Ricky, they're 8-time champs because of this the switch. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely crazy because of this a simple switch. That was just terrible. Yeah, so Samoa Joe, he was on the in the booth because of injury. Um, here's the thing, Christopher. Look, I'm totally fine with Joe staying on the commentary booth. He's one of the best things on Raw to me. Like, I cannot imagine the commentary booth without Samoa Joe now. Really gets into it. He does color really, really, really good. I really like Samoa Joe's color commentary. He's fantastic. And I just think that the color commentary team would just flop if he wasn't there. I mean, so look, if he's making, like I said this before, look, if you're making the same money you are as an in-ring talent, if that's the deal, if that's the case for Samoa Joe, I would not want to get out the booth, because you're coming to tell me that I can make the same amount of money doing commentary as wrestling in the ring. So less bumps, no bumps, and I substantially less risk of injury, and I get the same money. Oh, I'm in. And that's what I see. Yeah, I definitely see that. I don't see a reason why he should get back in the ring. Dude's what, 41 years, 42 years old, 41. I think he's born in 79. 41 years old. Let me make sure. I think he's 41 though. I think he's born in 79. And yeah, 41 years old. And former U.S. champion, so there's not necessarily anything else that he need. I mean, two-time, one of the only two-time, NXT champions, one of 3. So, what 4 now, right? So, no, so you had Balor, yeah. So 3, Balor, Joe, Nakamura. And did Cole win it twice? I know there were 2 for a while. I know for a while it was Balor it was Joe and Nakamura. Balor's there now since he won again. Let me see. Yeah, so there's only so Adam Cole only had it once. And he had it for 403 days. That's pretty cool. So yeah, there's only been 3 two-time champions in the history of and I appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. 18 champions. And I like the title reigns. That's why that's what I like about NXT, man. Like, Gargano had it for 2 months. Keith Lee had it for 2 months, about a little less than 2 months. But Zayn had it for 2 months. Drew had it for 3 months. Black had it for 108 days. That's a little over 3 months. And then after that, the 12 champions, 13 out of the 18 champions have had it for more than 100 days. So, I mean, I love that, man. That's great. I mean, since they started it's been 8 years since they started the championships, the NXT championship. In 8 years, you've had 18 champions, and 12 of the 18 champions had it for actually 13. 13 of the 18 champions had it for more than 100 days, and there's only been 3 two-time champs in the history of NXT. Now that's how you treat a belt. I love that. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else that, I mean, if Joe went back to the ring, he wouldn't get a push. And if he comes back as a heel, he'll probably do everything else. I mean, he'll probably do the other things that he does a heel, win a couple matches and make someone look good, like a Seth Rollins or a Roman Reigns. Like that's what he did before. So he'll probably do the same thing for somebody else. He'll probably, if he was a heel, he'll probably beat up a couple people just to make someone like a Ricochet look good, which happened before. So no need to do that. That's purposeless, and you're risking injury just to not be the top of the card. If he was a babyface, that's still, I mean, he's not going to be the top babyface because Drew is. And then who does he go against? Braun Strowman for what? I mean, why? What is that going to do for him? U.S. Championship, him and Lashley could be an interesting feud, but he's been U.S. champ before. And again, what does that really mean? If he feuds for the U.S. title again with Lashley, I really think Joe should stay commentary. I think he really found a sweet spot. He found a gold mine when he wasn't looking for one, and that's he should stay there. Let's see what else we got. Ask Chris. Big Show get drafted or be put on draft board. He's currently listed as raw talent on WWE website. I forget to add him. Yeah, I think he's probably the free agent thing. You know how Big Show is. They'll call Big Show whenever they feel like it, and then there you go. I believe Eva Marie deserves to come back. Or do you think Paige could ever come back to the ring? I think there's always a chance with Paige. It seemed like it was impossible for Daniel Bryan, and he came back. So I think there's a chance. There's always a possibility. It's going to take a lot of medical, intervention. So, and now Eva Marie, I don't know why they're re-signing her. I mean, I really hope that she, the whole character, the whole, match gets abruptly stopped. Character was interesting, but it's like, you're giving her all that heat for what? Like, I'm not impressed in the ring, honestly. I mean, not at all. Character wise, she definitely has some potential. I would just get a lot of in-ring time first. And so, I'm a character guy. I think character is what really, drive someone to go to that next level. But you got to have some ring work too. Unless you're like a big man heel, you don't need to have as much in-ring work. But she's a heel female talent. She's going to have to do some work. All right, y'all. I think might close up on that. Like I said, we need the Patreon. Patreon will allow me to keep going, but I do want to respect my devotion to my schedule, and I love chatting with y'all. Go ahead and hit that Patreon. And Patreon helps us, continue PNP and really drives me to keep going for the show. Like I said, I have two very successful shows now. I have Legion of Raw, I have Unscripted, and I do PNP after Unscripted now, just because I love talking to y'all. So you find it in your heart to give Patreon wise. If you love the show, if you love PNP, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Go to patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. Or you can really do it. You can even do a one-time donation, actually. If you appreciate PNP, my Patreon is cfed7@gmail.com. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna do a couple more real quick, and then of course your donations. Like I said, it really keeps PNP going at this time, and it really shows me that you guys really want to support this show, man, and that drives me to keep going despite my crazy schedule. So, all right, let me address a couple of these things, a couple more, and we will head out for tonight. Splitting up the New Day. I think it's about time to see what I still say this, and I mean it. There's no need to split up the New Day. There's no need. You can, just like the Undisputed Era, you can have successful runs as a faction. It's not necessary to split a faction to have success. Look at the Four Horsemen. Look at Evolution. Like, it just there's no need to split up a faction for them to say, okay, well, finally we're going to do something. I mean, traditionally that doesn't make sense. I mean, like the Horsemen, you had Flair as the main guy, as champ. You had Arn and Ole as tag champs, and Tully as the mid card guy, the upper mid card guy. You know, typically you have the television championship, or feuding for the U.S. title. So, but at the same time, at any time, Tully was so popular that he could have went for the world title if he wanted to, if like a Luger had it or something like that, or a Sting or Dusty. He feuded with Dusty, someone like an Arn, what I mean? So Evolution, even, like you had Tripp as the top guy, you had Batista and Flair as tag champs, and you had Orton as the Intercontinental champion. But Orton and Batista, I mean, they split to make Orton, somebody, but you still had a bunch of champs and one. You had them still being successful within a faction. And you have, especially Undisputed Era. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly had an NXT championship match. It didn't take them splitting for that. And I think, with the New Day, it did not take the New Day splitting for them to say, oh, okay, well, finally we'll see how. No, it isn't. It's not necessary. They could have all been together. They could have been on SmackDown all together. And Big E could have been the one. They're interchangeable anyways. The New Day has been interchangeable for a while. So they're an interchangeable group. And so you can have Kofi and Xavier do the tag and Big E do the singles. And that's totally fine. To me, it was totally unnecessary to split the New Day up. Totally unnecessary. Cool. Let's see if there's anything else real quick. No, I don't want this. I don't want he could, yes, to answer your question, but no. Right now, Roman Reigns is the best thing going in all of professional wrestling right now. Roman, the tribal chief stuff, do not put a faction and let it lead to The Rock. This is the best way to get Rock and Reigns. And I've been saying Rock Reigns since last year. For all of those who listen to PNP, all my weeklies, y'all know I've predicted Rock Reigns for a long time now. But now it just makes so much sense. I mean, like, and I said this before, look, perfect time, Hell in a Cell, I Quit match, perfect time to write Jay off. The Usos come back when Jimmy's cleared. They both get on Reigns. Reigns go through both of them. And then, that allows him during, say, February, I think it would be a good time. Or, I would do like a handicap match, a handicap world match for the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. That would be really cool. If Jay's cleared by that time, that's 3 months from now. I would do Jay and Jimmy against Roman Reigns. So they're fighting together. Universal Championship handicap match. Jimmy and Jay against Roman Reigns. Roman wins, takes him out. I think either the Raw after the Rumble or going into the February pay-per-view. You have like a coronation ceremony, tribal chief. I would bring out Rikishi. I would bring, like I said last week, I would bring out Alpha and Sika. You know what I mean? I'll just bring out all of them and say, you are the tribal chief. I would have all of them. Jimmy J, Alpha, Sika, Rikishi, all of them. I would just, have them down the line and say, you are the tribal chief. I would even have a couple of the Fatus. Of course, Jacob won't do it because he's in MLW, but I would have a couple of the Fatus who are like wrestling indies, have them come up and say, you are the tribal chief, and have like a ceremony and say, I am the tribal chief. There's no one else left. I am the tribal chief. You see this? This is my tribe. I am the leader. I am the tribal chief. And there's no one who can stop. If you smell what the rock, let's cook it. Rock comes out. And he says, but you're missing somebody. And who you're missing is me. This is my tribe. I have busted my butt, blood, sweat, and tears to pave the way for you, Roman Reigns. And you will not sit here and disgrace my family, disgrace our family. This is not what a tribal chief does. A tribal chief protects his family, not rules over his family. I want to show you that The Rock is the tribal chief because I care about my family and you only care about yourself. There you go. There's your promo. And that leads up to Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania 37. The Rock wins. The Rock loses. The Roman Reigns wins. Rock puts over Reigns. Perfect time. There you go. Perfect time. The Raw, the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is just super duper just gloating over that. And so that's when you can open that up for like a Big E at that time or anything like that. Big E has a good tie-in because he built a respect for the Usos. You can even have the Usos come out when he's gloating. Rock take out the Usos, and then there you go. Have Big E come out, and that sets up Big E versus Reigns. So there you go. Yeah, yes, Cordell. I heard Melina's coming back too. Yes, indeed. We'll see how that happens. Shane, do I believe Orton has for these title, or does Drew retain his Hell in a Cell? Orton does not need a title. Absolutely not. Interesting. I'm going to do another show. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Let me give y'all the so if you go to PayPal, for your donations, there you go, guys. So if you want to just do a donation, I'm cool with that. If you want to be a Patreon, you get stuff for Patreon. So within 3 months, you get a T-shirt, the Pancakes and Powerslams T-shirt. If you're a patron for 3 months, if you're a patron for 6 months, you get a personalized T-shirt with the Wrench Mob #Wrench Mob on it, and then you have the Pancakes and Powerslams logo on one sleeve, and you have your name on the other sleeve, so it's personalized. And you also get an opportunity to co-host a show, and it'll be an Ask Whoever. So so for instance, if Paul just recently became a patron a few weeks back, so it would just be your floor. I'll just kind of be here and narrate, and it'll be Ask Paul. So the PNP Nation would ask Paul whatever wrestling related questions they want to ask him, and of course we're a PG show, so the answers would be PG as well. So yeah, that's your perk of being a part of the Patreon for 6 months. So no, Alonzo, like I said, I mean, I'm going to I'm cutting the segments. I'm cutting the segments because we need more support on PNP, because we just need more support financially in PNP to really keep this keep us going. My schedule is so crazy right now that I really like. When I say I do it for you, I do it for you. And so your contributions, or that shows me how much you appreciate PNP operating. So all right, y'all, thanks Chris, appreciate it very, very much. Awesome stuff. Thanks guys, appreciate it. I should do WWE booking. Thanks a lot, man. Pretty much. Thank you much. Can you see the PNP shirt? Remind me next week. I've done I've showed both of them before, but yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. I gotta roll. Again, if you want to make a donation, there you go. Finding your heart. If you appreciate the show, thanks much. Until then, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. I hope you guys have a good morning now. Get a good day. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.